Okay guys, wanted to do a quick video review of the new Sherco, or the 2016 Sherco 450 SEF R Factory. Factory comes with the Akrapovic all the way through, the blue rims which had the guys down at Saunders Motorcycles, my old friend Colin Saunders, who's been a motocross dealer and dirt bike dealer for, well, since the late 70s, and wanted to do a review because when I was looking to buy this, there was really very little about that would tell you what you'd really want to know before spending out, you know, the best part of over £8,000 sterling in a new dirt bike. Having had something like 15 KTMs and Yamahas, Hondas, Kawasaki's, you name it, over the last 40 years of riding dirt bikes, was a little apprehensive about going Sherco, even though it is from a good friend of mine who just took on the dealership this year. But one of the reasons that I've gone for them is now in my 5th decade. I really wanted something that is easy enough to ride, and this, I have to say, is probably one of the first of the new generation 450s. It's only 109 kilos, whereas pretty much everything else, the KTMs and everything else, are 113, 114. So wanted to get something that's a bit lighter, having been not as strong as I used to be. Being out, this is the very first ride, just back, and yeah, pretty awesome. Didn't know quite what to expect, simply because there just isn't too much out and about on them. Put the Bark Busters, doesn't come with the Bark Busters on them, but I have to say, was out probably only about 10 minutes and caught a tree. Luckily those things deflected it, and I got away with it no problem. I think if I'd just had the normal handguards, that would have took me out. But couple of little things really. Suspension, absolutely awesome. Pretty much left it box factory. It's now got the grand total of about, I think, 48 clicks, no, 112 clicks on there. That's all that I've done this morning. Super smooth power. Last bike I had was a 530, and this hasn't obviously got the grunt of that 530, and I guess the biggest difference between it and the KTM 450 is the 450 is a bit more brutal. This is almost electric in the way that it pulls its power. I think the first thing that's going to go are those pegs. They're nice, but I've been using pivot pegs for donkey's years, so with a bit of luck the KTM pivot pegs will slot straight onto this one. So gearbox was a bit notchy, I have to say. Where the KTM gearbox tends to be a bit clunky, this one's notchy. How that actually feels is just a bit firmer on the foot, but it's other than that, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got one of the mild and wild buttons. That's the wild, that's the mild. Very simple cockpit on it. Had the lights on today, just to let everyone know that I was coming along. Went out with my brother for a couple of hours. I'll tack a little bit of a video from that onto this in a minute, but yeah, absolutely awesome. One thing though is that there is absolutely nothing in the handbook about how to run it in, so it was kind of guesswork. So I did a little bit of searching around on the net last night, and from the net last night picked up very different things. Now, as I say, I've had dirt bikes for 40 years, and it was always a case of gentle as you like, 20% on the throttle for kind of an hour or two, and gradually sort of feed in a bit more throttle and a bit more throttle. But read a few bits where they were saying that these are actually bench test or bench run for 20 minutes before they actually get put in a frame and taken out and about. And I know that these get PDI by Malcolm Rathmore's team, who are the importer in the UK, before they get out to the dealer, so that they actually get the PDI at the importer before it gets out to the dealer themselves. So what they were saying essentially was that to get the piston rings to bed in, you really want to give it a good old handful. So I rode it like Miss Daisy for the first about the first 16 kilometres. Talking about the actual riding of the thing, I thought I'd better add this to the review earlier on. In riding it, it is unbelievably easy on the trails and a bit of tarmac. The gearbox ratios are absolutely perfect for lugging along just nicely. Took it out into a bit of a circuit part and took it up to race speed, and oh my god, what a difference when you know it goes from literally mild to wow, wild. I literally had fired the peg from mild into wild and really give it some big beans, and the front end's just lifting, super amount of traction. I mean, this really is the traction monster. Yeah, I think at race speed this will be absolutely the bit of kit to be on. So yeah, super happy. Think you will be too. This is me brother, just riding my new Sherco 450, having a little go and see how it compares to his KTM. He's got it in, there's two mapping switches, there's mild and wild. Mild, giving it a go. I have to say that there's quite a difference actually between mild and wild mode. That's the different mapping that you can have on the bars. It feels ever so light for a 450, really light. Quite different to the KTM that I've had in the past. It feels a lot tighter. Gearbox, in all honesty, is probably quite a bit notchier actually, where the KTM is not notchy, but it is clunky. So there you go. That gives you a tiny little view of the Sherco 450.